This was put in place to preserve the last few remaining solar manufacturing jobs in our country. We've lost 150 solar manufacturing companies, not jobs, companies in the U.S. over the last 10 years. It's been a long time coming. I hope that this will be the end of it. The Chinese have already knocked out 150 U.S. solar manufacturing companies. Hundreds of thousands of jobs that used to be here are now gone. This is not a case of, well, they're just smarter and they made a better product. That's not true. Simply isn't true. What happened is they used their standard trade practices to game the system, and they've been caught and told they shouldn't do it again, and they're just not listening. So don't let anybody tell you that this is about they've been better manufacturing practices, or the American manufacturers didn't have their business plan together right, and they weren't watching the changing industry. Simply not true. This was simply something that the Chinese manufacturers did that wasn't ethical. They think it is. We don't believe it is here in the United States. The Chinese started out with 10% of global market share 10 years ago. And in that 10-year period, they now have 90% of market domination. That's not because they make a better product or they have more efficient ways to do it or anything else like that. They gamed the system and they've controlled it. And this is not unusual for their way of thinking. It's happened in the lumber industry, concrete, steel, rebar, furniture. It happens on all large manufactured items. This is not new. This is the next item they chose to manipulate. So that means that 90% or 90, it's more than 90%, 90 few percent of all of the panels globally are produced in China or in the Chinese region and their subsidiaries that they put on different islands. So that's what's hurt the American manufacturer, because they bring the product to the States at a lower than market price. They say it's the market price, but it's not. And they've been accused and caught 2 separate times. So it's not like they haven't broken the rules. They've broken the rules. They've been caught breaking the rules. They were caught spying on American solar companies, cyber espionage, and caught. I mean, this is just what they do. So this is there to protect the manufacturing jobs. And we think that it was a good thing to do. I say that this is a net positive for the solar industry because it's going to preserve some American manufacturing jobs in the solar sector. The large companies that are hyping up all the press about we're going to lose all these jobs are upset because they're going to see a small increase in their panel pricing. 30% on a product they're buying for 35 cents is not much money. They're still going to make a lot of money. They're going to lose a few percentage points on their profit margin, and they're crying about it. And they're going to continue to be upset about that. The market will correct itself. The next utility increase will wipe this out. Everybody will forget about it. So it's good for American manufacturing jobs, period. It's not going to hurt the mid-size and smaller solar installers, and the large companies aren't going to get hurt. They're going to drop a couple of points on their margin. They're not going to stop putting solar in.